Hey everybody, what's up y'all? Welcome back to my channel. Tammy Talks here. Alright y'all, let's go ahead and get into Ready to Love Season 7 Episode 2. Alright, so if you're brand new to my channel, I do breakdowns on various TV shows, both scripted and reality, interjecting my own thoughts, opinions, and theories into each and every recap. So, if you enjoy that type of content, please consider subscribing to the channel, thumbsing up the video, and hopping in the comment section so we can talk about everything that happened on tonight's episode. So y'all know earlier in the season like this, where we're still very, very new in it, it's hard to kind of like recap these because it's a bunch of like speed dates almost. We're not really seeing a bunch of like real solidified connections, but let's talk about a little bit what happened. So we start with the brunch mixer. So at this mixer, Tommy announces that 4 more singles are going to be joining the group. So we are now up to 18 from the 14. We know that 2 people got sent home the very first night. So this week, the men have the power to send somebody home. Tommy informs them of that. And Andre's hair is worse. So like now Andre has like a bun with the still got the little Shirley Temple. And it's like, and it was a lot. It was distracting. Andre, while I do like his personality, his hair is going to distract me majority of every episode. So we meet Mark Anthony, who is one of the new singles that is joined. And he's outside talking to Corvaya. And Corvaya is like, so do you believe in spoiling a woman? And he was like, well, I give a woman what you earn. And I know what he said came out wrong, but I see what he was saying too. Why would I go in and cash out and spend all this money on somebody if they're not, I guess, meeting 50-50 in a relationship? Meanwhile, Corvée is like, so I have to prove to you that I'm worth being spoiled? Girl, yes. So Corvée is a prime example of somebody that doesn't need to be on the show. And the reason Corvea does not need to be on the show is because Corvea is one of those women that makes a lot of money, makes her own money, is able to buy herself whatever she wants, take care of herself. So like she's gonna come in expecting somebody to be at a certain level, which is perfectly fine, but she's gonna be rude about it. And I think that's going to hold Corvea back this entire process. So Z is going around to all the guys talking about how she was on the chopping block. They know, girl, they were there. But she's going around and yeah, it's kind of hard to open up and I was nervous and this and that. And it's like you doing too much. Instead of using this time to basically complain about the fact that you were on the chopping block, you could be using this time to really try to get to know some of these guys and to turn around their thoughts and theories about you. Change their minds. Make them feel like, oh damn, maybe we shouldn't have put her on the chopping block. She's actually like, she's super cool. And that's not what she did. So we meet Cynthia. Cynthia is one of the new women that is coming on, one of the new women singles. Her confessional makeup, ladies, your foundation has to match your neck. If you're gonna have your neck and your sternum out, that foundation has to match and be even. Not Corvée. Cynthia looked like she packed that makeup, which is the wrong shade, onto her face. Like it was so jarring and distracting. Sis, go get some help. Go get matched. That wasn't it. So we get a group date with some of the guys so that they can meet the ladies. The new ladies. So Cynthia, while talking to them, she said that her deal breaker is a cheater. Plausible. Tony asked her, so what is her type? She was like, everybody is her type. And at first they were like, oh, she's running game. But she broke it down. She was like, you can't look at somebody and judge them based off of just aesthetically initially. You have to really talk to people. You have to really kind of get to know people before you can make that big of a snap decision about them. She said, so because of that, everybody is her type. It sounded like a bunch of bull, but it made sense. I think the older you get, the less you get so caught up in looks. The older I get, the less I'm caught up in, okay, I want a guy to be this complexion and look like this and that type of stuff. My only requirement for a man at this point is I want you to be taller than me. You know what I mean? And I feel like what Cynthia said just made sense to me at least. So then we get Johnny who shows up, and Johnny kind of feels a way that the date has already kind of started without her. They're vibing, they're talking. So she feels like she's at a bit of a disadvantage. Well, then, girl, you should have been on time. Unless they gave her a different call time, you just should have been on time. Like, that's all that is to that. So she's saying that her type is typically darker skin, taller, huskier men. She wants you to have a little weight on you. She wants you to be tall, darker skin. Okay. So Andre asked her, would she date an ugly guy? And she said, look, she has dated some men that she thought was very attractive and very good looking that other women would consider to be, ugly or not as attractive. So for her, she's one of those women that says that she does not want everybody else to think that her man is fine and good looking and all that stuff anyways. And I know a lot of women that are like that say that they want their men, they want their dudes to have a certain level of ugly so that they're not as attractive to other people. Okay, however you feel about it. But it seemed like the dates were going pretty good with them so far. Everybody's getting along. Nobody seems to be like throwing up red flags at these women. So Andre asked, could they be in a relationship with an alpha man? Could they be submissive? Cynthia said that she can be very submissive. She said that every woman can be submissive. It's a choice. But a lot of times it's up to the man to lead and make that woman feel comfortable enough to be submissive, which is true, which is very, very true. So she said that if she has to have this, harsh exterior that she has right now because she's a single mother and she doesn't want to play around with somebody. But if somebody comes into her life and they're not about the games, absolutely she's ready to be submissive to that guy, which was cool. So, like, the guys are kind of like, men love to hear that you want to be submissive. So, I think it was Tony and Blake walk Janique to her car, and Andre walks Cynthia to her car, and he's telling her that she intimidated him a little bit, and he likes that. That's a good thing. So they made a little bit of a connection. She's, looking forward to talking to him again soon. They're going to exchange numbers. So we got a little baby connection brewing so far. So then we get a date with Tony and Marcia. So Tony said that he likes how fast everything is going. He likes the pacing of of the process. We got rid of somebody that wasn't working for everybody. We bring in some new people. He's cool with that. So Marcia was like, okay, well, since we moving fast, could you see a life together? And he's like, keeping it real. Yes. Yes, I could. So they're having a really, really good time at dinner. They prayed over their food together. She was, very pleased with that. She loved the fact that he was able to pray over the food. And they enjoy their date. They want to see each other again in the future. Meanwhile, Z is on a date with Blake. Immediately, Blake was like, you look nervous. And I don't know, like something about Blake's tone and the way he carries himself comes across as condescending. He seems very rigid. Like he seems like the type of guy that's coming in. I know what I want, which is perfectly fine, but I know what I want, and I want you to know exactly what you want. And if you're not giving me the exact answers that I want, word for word, verbatim, spitting it out top of the dome, I'm not interested, and I feel like it's something wrong with you. And that's the vibe that Blake is giving. So Blake wants to know about her. She starts talking about her family. He's like, yeah, we know about your dad, we know about whatever. I want to know about you. You. I want to know about you specifically. And she was like, I like to hula hoop. I was like, what? But she said that she likes to hula hoop, and anybody that can make her laugh is good with her. And she said that after a while, it felt like she was being interrogated. Like, this is like an interrogation. Like, it wasn't like a natural flow of conversation. Blake says in his confessional that he was trying to get her to open up. So he was trying to push her to open up, and then after a while, he felt as if he was interrogating her too. And I think what a lot of people are missing is, and I mean people that come on this show that feel like people, aren't opening up. Y'all just met last night. Y'all literally just met last night. So, do you expect her to open up and tell you everything in the world about herself after you have met her 12 hours ago? It was kind of weird the way that he was saying it. So, he was saying he was disappointed that she didn't open up in the way that he wanted. Meanwhile, she's disappointed that the date went the way that it did. So, no connection there. We get a group date with with a bunch of ladies with Fabrice and Mark Anthony, the two male singles. Fabrice talks. He's an older guy. I think they said he was 44, but he talks about how he has dated women from all over the globe because he was born here, he lived there, he worked over here. So he's dated women from all over the world. He immediately changes the conversation and shifts it in a direction where he's talking about sex. And he said that he likes to talk about sex and how sexually free and sexually needy he is initially because he wants to see the women's reactions because based on how you react is how he thinks you feel about your body and how comfortable you are with yourself. I said, Febreze. So Jeffrey is immediately turned off by all the sex talk, whereas Suan is interested and said that he's giving Zaddy vibes. But Fabrice talked a lot about sex, and you could tell that one or two of the women were intrigued, but majority of them were just kind of like, okay, we get it. You like sex. We get it. So Mark Anthony, on the other hand, said that he has dated across the rainbow, but he prefers to date black women. So he's currently in school to be a pilot, and ended up saying that Mercedes stood out the most to him, mainly because she is a flight attendant, and he feels like they would understand each other's work schedules or whatever. We didn't get to learn a lot about Mark Anthony. I think because Fabrice talked about sex so much that we didn't really get to learn a lot about either one of them, to be real. So we get the first men's lounge, and it's like a church that has like a lounge up in there, a little sacrilegious, but okay. So Tommy tells them they have a second chance lifeline this season. So if a woman is down at the bottom, they can save her, but it has to be unanimous across the board, and I believe they can only use it once. Which I said, okay, very interesting. So it comes down to Lyndon taking out Corvaya and Blake taking out Z. So Corvaya is like nervous and wondering why she's here because she thought that it was very clear that she was not interested in Lyndon. So Lyndon told her that his first impression of her was that she was very particular on what she wanted, and then once again brings up her having an issue with him living alone. She said, I live alone. So I want whoever I'm dating to live alone as well. I don't think that that's a big deal to ask. I don't. I don't think that that's an outrageous, over the top, like requirement for the man that you're dating. I think Lyndon is just very insecure about that, and that's why it bothers him because he does have a roommate. I think Lyndon was the wrong person to come deliver this, anyways. But he's telling her that the men want her to stay. They think she has the potential, but he wants her to stop saying that this is what she wants so definite and phrase it, I guess, in a more palpable way so that it's a softer blow. And I just didn't agree with that. I didn't agree with that at all. If she don't want to date somebody for if she has particular things that she wants in her mate, I feel like that should be okay. The way like Lyndon is just a hurt dog will holler. And I feel like Lyndon just is catching these strays because he can't measure up. I don't know if it's because Lyndon really likes her or what, but I think he was the wrong person to deliver that message to her. Corvea, on the other hand, is like, I want a guy that's gonna make. I know what I'm worth. I want a man that's gonna be able to afford the things that I afford. And if I want to have, yacht days and do all this other type of stuff, I want somebody that can afford to do that with me. And if that's what she's looking for, I also kind of feel like that you should have took your ass down somewhere else and found your own mate instead of being on this show. Meanwhile, Blake is over with Z, and Z is wondering, why are we back on this date? Because we did not vibe and we have not spoken since the last time we went on a date. So she's talking about how she thinks she needs to work on her overthinking. She overthinks a lot of things, and I think it probably causes some doubt, some anxiety, some whatever within herself. So she gets sent home, and Blake is just saying that mainly because a lot of the men feel that she has not fully opened herself up to them. And because they don't feel like they really got to know the real her, that's why she's being sent home. She took it very graciously, she took it in stride, and she said while it does feel like rejection, ultimately she's okay with their decision. And then she does a very awkward and cringy song when the producer behind the camera asks her what does she want people to remember her by. Not that. Not that. But let me know what you guys thought about this episode. What do you guys think about Z and Corvea being down in the bottom? What do you guys think about Fabrice? What do you guys think about Corvea? Corvea is going to be a problem. Corvea is going to be a problem. Hop in the comment section down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one.